Tritone substitution. What is it and how can you use it in a jazz blues? So the tritone sub is a big topic and something that I could probably easily take up an hour of time just getting started on. So this lesson itself is not intended to be a full lesson on the tritone substitution. I'm really going to be assuming that you have at least an idea of what that is. And while I'm on the topic of what you'll need to know for this lesson, knowing a jazz blues progression from memory is really going to put you in good standing. If you fail to be able to play a jazz blues in B flat, then you're going to be struggling with what we're going to be talking about in today's lesson. So if you don't know what a jazz blues progression is, then I actually have another video class on this channel where you can find out about that progression, learn it, memorize it in a few keys, and that's going to give you the skill that you need to follow along with this lesson. Otherwise it's going to be going completely over your head. So make sure you learn a jazz blues progression first before cracking on with this lesson. So the common part where you'll see a tritone sub applied to a jazz blues is bars 8 and 9 of a jazz blues progression. So if you fast forward to that part in the progression, then that's where you have the turnaround to the 2 chord. So if you're playing a jazz blues in the key of B flat, for example, the 2 chord is a C minor 7, and then before that in bars 8 and 9 you get that D minor 7 flat 5 to G7 thing. Going to the 2 chord and then the full 2-5-1. So we're on about that part specifically. So the tritone sub which you can apply there, or the series of tritone subs, is a little different in terms of how it sounds to that D minor 7 to G7. Okay, so I'll play you 2 versions of this. I'm going to comp through the progression the first time using the original version, which has just got that turnaround to the 2 chord there, D minor 7 flat 5, G7 flat 9. Then the second time I'm going to use the tritone subs. Okay, so here we go. So what you just heard me play there was 2 versions of the jazz blues. The first time I played that, I used a typical turnaround to 2 that you would find in the jazz blues progression, which was the D minor 7 flat 5 to the G7. And then the second time I played that, I used a series of descending dominant 7th chords. So the second time I had B flat 7, A7, A flat 7, and a G dominant 7. Half a bar each on one of those chords. Okay, so why does that work? Why do you hear it sometimes? What's going on behind it? So you could really just think of all this without any tritone substitutions whatsoever, really. You could just think of it as being, okay, we're at B flat, we need to make some kind of reference to the 5 chord of C minor 7. So we're just really approaching that from a series of half steps above, which indeed is common in jazz blues. You know, the entire thing about when you're comping through a jazz blues is that you can approach any of the chords from a semitone above, and that can sound pretty good, you know. I guess a jazz blues, a semitone above is pretty common, whereas, you know, standard 1-4-5 blues, I'm sure we've all heard that lick before as well, which is approaching a chord from a tone. So it's not really uncommon to see a series of dominant 7 chords going down frets or semitones to get to the chord where it needs to be. Indeed, T-Bone Walker, was master of this if you're talking about traditional blues. But in the context of a jazz blues, I have to earn a living as well, so I'll tell you why the tritone substitution works, and hopefully that will expand your creative application of tritone subs. So you might want to use this on different standards, or maybe you just want to know because you're a bit of a theory geek and it interests you why tritone subs could work over this. So on the part where it's D-7 flat 5 to G7, as you know from when I just talked about the progression then, the G dominant 7 stays the same. That's completely unharmed, unchanged. It's the D-7 that changes, and then we're adding some chords before it. So that the new tritone sub, that B flat, remains intact. Then we have an A7, and then an A flat 7, and then a G dominant 7. So let's start with the G7 and work from the G7 to the B flat and see how we came to this conclusion. Okay, so D-7 flat 5. Now, if I said to you, what root note is a flat 5 away from that D natural, hopefully we'd be able to agree that that note would be an A flat. So basically the first tritone sub happens right there. Instead of a D-7 flat 5, we have an A flat 7 chord there. So some of you will probably be a bit confused about that, especially if you're new to the tritone sub, because it's typically a substitution that's used on dominant 7th chords, right? Because the 3rd and the 7ths of both of those chords are the same. If you were to tritone sub a G7 for a D flat 7, those two guide tones remain intact. But this time, D-7 flat 5 doesn't really have too much in common with A flat other than the root. Well, the chords themselves have nothing, but the root note of a D to an A flat is a flat 5. Okay, so that's how the tritone sub is applied there. So, I have found other examples of volume repertoire where that happens. It doesn't always have to be a substitute for a dominant chord. Sometimes it can just be of another type of chord that's a flat 5 away from the root of the chord in question. Okay, so hopefully that explains the first one and why that works. So if we then go further up our sequence of dominant 7 chords, we have an A7 there, and then we have a B flat 7 there. Okay, so let's talk about how and why this part of the progression works. So that B flat 7, now you can think of that as just being, the one chord of the key, which is starting a chain downwards, which is fine. But if I asked you what root note is the flat 5 a tritone away from, then that note is E, okay? E. B flat is a flat 5 above an E natural, okay? So, just think about this for a minute. We've got D-7 there, and if we go back to the first type of jazz blues turnaround, where we had a D-7 flat 5 to a G7, then if you've got an E-7 there, and you want to get to a D minor then a G7, what chord could you have that's going to connect an E-7 to a D minor? Hopefully some of you will be saying you'll have an A7 there, because that's going to give you that 5-1 cadence to D minor. So that is how that A7 comes into play there. So if you think of that as being an E-7 flat 5, then an A dominant 7, then a D-7 and G7, one D tritone version of this turnaround could be E-7 flat 5, A7, D-7, then a G dominant 7. So, and you get that type of thing, which in essence has a lot of the same type of sound. Really, it's just the harmony moving in the direction to that G7 chord, which is pulling to the 2 chord and turning the entire harmony around there. So that is basically how I see some of those dominant 7 chords as working. Really, you're just extending and embellishing that initial turnaround to get to 2, and that is basically how it works. I mean, you can actually combine a few of these different things if you want to. You don't have to religiously play the thing that's got the chromatically, descending thing like that, you may want to do. You could just do it like that, where there I had a combination of both, where I played the E minor 7, A7, then A flat 7, then G, Or you could do it the other way around, where you start with a B flat 7 chord, and then keep the part where it's the turnaround to 2 as the original chord changes, really. So I hope that makes some kind of sense to you, and that explains why the tritone sub in the jazz blues turnaround works. It can be a bit of a big one to get your head around if you're new to a jazz blues initially, but it's one that a lot of players and musicians use, so I think it's good to be aware of, really. So that hopefully explains that. Maybe you want to take this turnaround and apply it to some other songs and other repertoire that you're working. That would be a good way to learn it, but certainly just, if you were playing a jazz blues and you were, comping, say, 3 or 4 choruses of a jazz blues for someone's solo, it can get a bit monotonous using the same chords, chorus after chorus, so slight embellishments like this can help you keep things interesting into when you're comping, rather than just using the same set of changes all the time. If you have any questions or comments about anything that we've talked about in today's lesson, please let me know in the comment section just below this video. And if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could give me a like, and if you subscribe to the channel, then you're not going to miss out on any of the new classes that I post. Thanks very much for listening, and yeah, I hope to see you in the next class. Cheers.